Okay, so we all think we know stories about magical rings, right? Heroes, quests, good versus evil. But what if the most famous one? What if it's not really about fantasy at all? What if it's a deep, psychological dive into the nature of power itself? Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today. We're looking at this story as a parable about our will to power.
And that really boils down to one huge, central question. It's the question that just hangs over every single character in this myth. And honestly, it's a question for us too. What is the true cost of getting everything you want, of ultimate power? That's what we're here to figure out.
All right, let's kick things off. Our story starts with two very different figures who are after the exact same thing, power. And their stories show us the two fundamental paths to corruption, the two ways power can absolutely poison the soul. Okay, so check this out. We've got two sides of the same corrupt coin here. On one side, you have Alberic, the master. This guy makes a chillingly simple trade. He gives up love, that human connection, the vow, all for pure, unadulterated power, the I. He literally decides he'd rather own the entire world and be a spiritual desert than connect with anyone. Then you've got Wotan, the god, the All-Father. He's the debtor. He's not after power for power's sake. No, he wants it to cover his own vanity, to pay for his ridiculously expensive fortress, Valhalla. His whole kingdom is basically built on a cosmic credit card, and the bill is coming due. And this is so important. The ring, it's not just a symbol of power. It's way more sinister than that. It represents the illusion, the seductive lie that you can have it all without paying the price, that you can hold ultimate power and somehow keep your soul intact. It's the ultimate self-deception, and it tempts everyone, from the master to the debtor. And man, this quote just nails Wotan's whole dilemma. Here he is, the philosopher king, the guy who wrote the rule book for the universe. And what happens? He realizes those very laws, the ones he created, have become his own personal prison. All the contracts, all the rules designed to keep order, they've got him tangled up in knots. So he has to wage war not just on his enemies, but on himself, on the very system he built. And at the end of the day, that's the curse of the ring. It's simple, really. This need to own, to possess everything, to sickness. It doesn't care if you're strong or weak. It takes the powerful, guys like Wotan, and makes them weak, tangled in their own webs. And it takes the weak and makes them so desperate they'll give up anything, even the most human parts of themselves, just to get a taste of that power. Okay, so if the old gods and the old masters are all corrupt, who's left? Who could possibly break this curse? That brings us to our next part, where we meet two would-be saviors. But here's the thing, they are deeply flawed. First up is Siegfried, and the source material calls him the blonde beast, which is just a wild concept. He's not your typical hero with a strong moral compass, not at all. Think of him more like a force of nature, like a hurricane or a wildfire. He's just pure, raw life energy, completely unburdened by the past, by guilt, by a conscience. He just acts. And here's the crazy paradox of Siegfried. His greatest strength is also his fatal flaw. He can just walk up and shatter the spear of law, the very symbol of Wotan's power. Why? Because he can't even read the rules carved into it. They mean nothing to him. But that total fearlessness, that innocence, makes him a total sucker. It's like the quote says, "He who fears nothing is easily fooled by those who fear everything." His raw power is just a tool waiting to be used by weaker, more fearful people who know how to manipulate.
Wow. I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? He is the sword that knows how to cut, but not why it bleeds. It's just perfect. He's a living weapon capable of destroying anything in his path, but he has zero understanding of the consequences, of the pain, of what he's actually tearing down. He's pure blind action.
Okay, let's turn our attention to our other savior, Brunhilde. Her entire story pivots on this one massive, philosophical choice she has to make. It's a question for the ages, really. What's more important? Where does your true loyalty lie? With the law, the abstract rules and contracts made by the gods? Or with life itself, in all its beautiful, tragic, messy glory?
So, you know her big moment of betrayal, right? Where she defies her own father, Wotan, to save a hero he condemned? Well, the insight here is that this isn't about pity. That's too simple. No, this is a full-blown philosophical decision. She looks at the situation and decides that saying yes to life, even a flawed and doomed life, is a higher good than just blindly following orders from a god. It's a total flip of the moral script, a transvaluation of values.
So you see the twist, right? Her betrayal is actually the most profound act of loyalty you can imagine. She's not being loyal to a person or a rule book. She's being loyal to the very principle of life with a capital L.
Okay, so all of this is building to one massive, fiery climax. But here's where we need to shift our thinking. The end of this story, the destruction of everything, it's not a tragedy. We need to see it as a kind of cleansing, a liberating fire.
And this is maybe the single most important idea about the ending. The Twilight of the Gods, it's not supposed to be sad. It's not a downer. It's a purification. It's like a storm that finally clears the air so something new can grow.
So, why did the gods have to be wiped out? Well, here's the diagnosis. The whole system had just gotten old and sick. It was decadent. Its morality was too rigid. And, ironically, it was choked to death by the very contracts it created for stability. That whole idea of some perfect heaven out there, a Valhalla of the mind, it wasn't a goal anymore. It was a prison. And the only thing you can do with a prison like that is burn it to the ground.
So, what's the point of all this fire and destruction? What's the big takeaway? After the gods are gone, what comes next? Well, that brings us to the final crucial idea, the dawn of the Creator.
Okay, here it is, the big conclusion, laid out for us. It all starts here. The Twilight of the Gods
Is really about rejecting the whole idea of a divine world order. It's about saying, no more. No more looking up to the sky for answers, for saviors, for a rule book handed down from on high.
And because that old world is gone, it marks the dawn of the self-creator. With no God to tell us what to do, we're finally forced to look inside ourselves. We have to become our own masters, create our own values, and forge our own purpose from scratch.
And that's where this ancient myth leaves us. Right here. The story is over, but the real challenge is just beginning. The old gods, the old rules, they're all gone. It's all on us now. So the question isn't just for the story, it's for you. What new values will you create?